obviously there's been a number of sort of big steps and big transitions made in recent times, but probably the curious one at the moment is, in terms of the timing, is the SMA review and with the closed deal at the new ground.
Yeah, I understand completely. The first response to that is I can't help at what stage Carlton or any other club in the competition is searching for a CEO. And what I probably should have said before is unusual, and perhaps in some cases, I mean, it'd be a very mixed view out there about going to another club, and I understand that completely, you know, from, yep, that's business, through to how could you when you've been in battle for so long. What I came to the conclusion in my own mind is, you know, I have a passion for the game, I want to stay in the game, I think I've got something to offer, maybe even a point to prove in there somewhere. So it's logical to stay in the industry and go to another club. But I can't help when that club decides that it needs a CEO.
Rob, you would know they're very difficult to get CEOs, good ones. You've held on to other staff here when clubs have come running. Why wouldn't you talk Stephen out of this one?
I think Stephen's articulated it pretty well. You know, in his heart of hearts, he knew it was time. You know, 12 and a half years is an incredibly long tenure in any industry, performing the number one job. And as he also said, you know, ticking off those 3 key projects in the last couple of years, 18 months, you know, you're sort of left with, well, what next? The SMA question is a good one. And Stephen and I have spoken at length, Triggy, certainly the last month about it. I spoke with Mark Legutier over the last couple of days, a couple of times, and such as our industry is very collegiate, and he knows how important that review is to the AFL and to us, and I think we break the back of that. A lot of the heavy lifting's already been done, but you know, I'd like to think in 4 weeks' time, as I said, most of that work's done, and Stephen will play his role in that, and it may just be left to me to negotiate the last couple of things and our staff here, but it will get done, and hence the timing.
Rob, where should the next CEO come from? Should it be from within the football club or from outside the four walls here?
Tom, I have a view that, you know, we have a responsibility to develop all of our staff, firm belief in that, and particularly management, and you should groom them to be the best they possibly can. Having said that, you know, as chairman of the board, I know it's my responsibility to ensure that we recruit and select the very best CEO available, and hence we will conduct a quite extensive national, indeed international, search for a CEO, which will incorporate those incumbents here, as well as what we can find in the marketplace over the next little while.
About yourself, Rob, are you prepared to look at it?
No, categorically not.
Stephen, should any other changes be made? Obviously, the CEO leaving is a big thing. Should any other changes be made at this football club, in your opinion?
I think we need to be very careful about excessive change. I know that there's a pocket of a view out there that we need change, sweeping change, and on which basis I'm not sure, because the club is in such great shape. If it's because we're just outside the 8 and knocking on it rather than the top 4, well, that's nonsensical, because in every other way the club's in great shape. If it's because the other crew are doing well, then that's just still nonsensical, to be blunt. To be really careful about change. The great strength, and I can say this without fear or favour on the way out, is that without any doubt at all, and I'll take to task anyone who wants to argue the contrary, one of the great attributes of this club has been its stability. Now, change is growth, and change at the right time in the right places is needed. But too much change, and you've seen it in other clubs around the competition, where that change is uncontrolled or that change is excessive, it weakens the club. I promise you it weakens the club. Now just have a think about this for a moment, is that this club, if you want to talk about board level, changed 2 out last year, and we'll change 2 out this year. That's 4 in the space of 12 months. And so there's some really significant change there. At executive level, I wouldn't mind just landing this point, at executive level, a relatively new COO, a quite new head of football, 12 months in HR manager, We'll soon get a brand new list manager. We have made significant change and will need to make change in and around our coaching area with the loss of Dean. There's a really and now you're going to change a CEO. This is an extremely well-led club without fear or favour at board level. It needs to have a sense of stabilisation once it appoints its CEO.
Does that mean that-
said at the start of the year that when other clubs were coming at you that you thought you had 3 more years left here, that you wanted to leave with the football?
Yeah.
It's great all the things you've listed off about off-field. The footy club's about on-field results.
Yep.
That was one that you wanted to tick off. So why leave with that still undone?
You know, it's well put, and you know that to be the case is that it's always been about football first and trying to get some outcomes there. At the point of discussing that with you personally, very genuine. But again, once you tick off on those things and that we talked about, it is and has been a very logical question of oneself as to how long do you want to hang on for and be bloody minded about it. If it shouldn't be just about me, it should be about what's best for the footy club. And I suppose what happened, Michelangelo, as I've tried to explain already, is that maybe in the absence of such a terrific opportunity, you know, we'd still be in the saddle and riding along looking for those things that you talked about. But the opportunity, I think, started to weigh on me that, you know, it's probably right time for me, it's the right time for the club, and Michelangelo, just maybe these opportunities aren't going to keep coming.
Right. There's no way
And-
to ask this politely. But you know how your fans keep hitting you up, particularly when this club loses. So do you feel you're walking out with a set of knives in your back or an axe in your head for the way they treat you?
No, I don't. And be really clear is that this decision has zero, I promise you, has zero to do with what I consider to be a minority of knockers. I've been mindful of that for my club. I've been mindful of that for my family. But I quite sincerely mean this. I couldn't care less about it in terms of the critique of me.
And just to further elaborate on that question, Michelangelo, because there have been, and you've asked a brave question and a good question, but I think it's a terrific endorsement that not one, but at least a couple of clubs have recognised Stephen's leadership and recognised his skill at leading a successful football club and have come knocking on his door. The AFL, as you know, when us as a board, me as chairman, elected to keep Stephen here, we had knockers, but it was endorsed by the AFL. The chairman, Mike Fitzpatrick, said at the time Stephen should not be lost to football. And I think the AFL have further endorsed this move. So I think that just might contextualise, if there's such a word, you know, some of what's happened over the last couple of years and some of those comments. So to get the endorsement at the highest level and to have clubs come knocking on his door, I say speaks volumes to Stephen's skill.
Stephen,
Do you think, Rob, that perhaps no enough to let him go somewhere else? I mean, if he's that highly valued, which we know he is,
Yeah. And
why, it's like
yeah.
it's like if he was a player
Yeah.
and a free agent,
Yeah.
you wouldn't let him go.
Yeah,
So why let him
yeah.
go to
And I
someone
haven't
else?
let him go for the last couple of years, and I haven't let him go when other clubs have knocked on his door. But, you know, I think Stephen's articulated all his reasons why, and at the end of the day, you know, it's got to be his call, and it is his call, so let's be clear about that. And as I said right up front, he goes with our best wishes now. Timing is everything, and, you know, the timing might not come along again to go to a good club, which Carlton is.
Stephen, you mentioned that on-field results were an important thing for you and your legacy here at Adelaide. Given the recent commentary on Carlton's list and where they sit at the moment, is this taking a backward step for you in terms of achieving that goal that you pointed out before about the ultimate on-field success?
Just before I go to that, maybe there's just a loose thread there that has no particular logic to it, Michelangelo, but simply is a feel factor. Is no one ever wants to outstay their welcome, and I suppose that's the other part that I haven't expressed well enough is I don't want to get the tap on the shoulder at some stage where it goes, you know, it's either not working or it's just time.
But just on that, did you feel there was a bit of a tap going on his shoulder?
No, I
Did you
didn't.
see there's a queue outside your door
Yeah, I know. I think what Rob was trying to express there, to be fair, was that we're well planned and we've got some good people internally. If it was interpreted as being he's either on the way out or it's a tap, then it's just I just know in my heart that it's wrong. So people can interpret it how they want. So I did not feel that, and I say again to our supporters that this is a really strongly led board. It's a stable board. It's as supportive as it can be. And I honestly, I can't ask. My family know this. My staff know this. I can't ask any more than of the support that I've had, Michelangelo, from this board and other boards, including Bill Sanders, including the late Bob Campbell. I've loved working with these boards. They are supportive to the max. To your question about Carlton, there's going to be a better time to be giving a view about lists and what needs to be done and what the vision might be and how that's been discussed so far. I think the broader thing to say about it at the moment is, no, I don't see it as a backward step. I see it as an opportunity, because right now, in broad terms, I see a club with enormous upside.